Barcelona have just announced their 4 captains, and the 4 captains are Ter Stegen, Ronald, Araujo, Frenkie, and Sergi Roberto. We thought that one of them was going to be Pedri, we thought that another one was going to be Dembele, but it is these 4 players. I think that all of these players do deserve it, yes, even Sergi Roberto, and I'll tell you guys exactly why in just a couple of minutes. But first, I do want to talk about each and every one of these players and give my reasons on why I believe Barcelona named these 4 players as the captains of FC Barcelona. So first things first, right? I'm just happy to see that we finally have brand new faces, brand new captains. For a very long time, we always had players like Messi and Sergio Busquets, Piqué, Jordi Alba. Like many players that came from La Masia were named as captains, like those veteran players. And they were the captains for Barcelona for a very long time. Even before that, we had Xavi, Iniesta, Puyol. They were always named as the captains of FC Barcelona, the players who were in the root of this club. But now, for the first time in a very long time, we're going to be having captains that did not necessarily grew up in Barcelona, like Araujo or Frenkie or Ter Stegen. The only player is Sergi Roberto, that has made his Barcelona debut back in 2011. So let's start with Ter Stegen. He did start at Barcelona back in 2014. We knew from the start that this player had the capacity to become one of the best goalkeepers in the world, and if not the best goalkeeper in the world. We have seen that throughout the past 9 years. I remember when he made that amazing save against Lewandowski back in 2014 in the 2015 season, when Lewandowski tried to shoot the ball from inside the box and then Ter Stegen blocks it just before the ball goes all the way through the line in the Champions League semifinal. And then we went from Ter Stegen having an amazing season back in 2018, 2019. He made like a double save against Sevilla. At that moment, we're like, okay, we do have one of the best goalkeepers in the world. And then fast forward another 3 to 4 years, which is today in the previous season that we have just finished, he was unbeatable. We had so many clean sheets. We had a total of 26 clean sheets that Ter Stegen has given, equaling Paco Liano, who set the record back in 1993 and 1994. And so he had amazing moments in his career at Barcelona. He knows how to organize the defense. He talks to them a lot. He helps out the defenders on playing out from the back, or when we have to defend a corner kick, Ter Stegen is the first one to yell at the players and say, this is what we need to do. And I also do like the way that Ter Stegen presents himself during the post-match press conferences. He's very professional. He always says that Barcelona can always do better. Even when they win, he says we can improve on top of this. So this was destined to happen. Ter Stegen was destined to become one of the captains, and now he is named as one of them. Moving on towards Frenkie de Jong. Frenkie de Jong, another player that I think does deserve it. We all know that story. 1 year ago, around this time, Barcelona really wanted to let go of the player. There were so many talks, right, on basically like these were the narratives. Barcelona said that there's no place for Frenkie de Jong, that we need money, and one of the players that we can sell is Frenkie de Jong. We even, like in the past like 12 months before that event started, Frenkie de Jong was playing in many different positions. He was playing sometimes on the left wing, sometimes as a central defensive midfielder, as a interior midfielder, and he even got to a point where he was playing as a center back. And so there was no really set role for Frenkie, and that is why many came into a conclusion back in that summer that Frenkie should be sold and we should bring in another player, another reinforcement in the midfield. And then we saw Manchester United try to make their bid for Frenkie. Ten Hag was trying to persuade Frenkie to come to the club because he just came, and he wanted Frenkie because they have worked together before back in the 2018-2019 season. And United and Barcelona had everything on the table. Really remember this. Remember back in the summer, Manchester United and Barcelona were writing everything down. They had the whole deal on the table. It was ready to go. The only thing that was missing was Frenkie's yes and say, okay, I'm willing to leave and I'm going to Manchester United. That was literally the only thing that was missing. Like, that's how badly Barcelona and Manchester United wanted this move to happen, and many fans also wanted this move to happen. And so can you imagine the amount of pressure Frenkie was going through at that time? Frenkie in the end persevered, and he said, there is no way I'm leaving. I understand where the frustration is coming from all parties, but there is no way I'm leaving this club because the job is not finished. And so during the season that we have just finished, we saw some massive improvements. You could tell that he was working so closely with Xavi Hernandez, and Xavi knew exactly what to do with the player. In the previous season, he had a total of 6 goal contributions. 6 total goal contributions. And this is him playing as a central defensive midfielder. Keep in mind that his best stats, like statistically, like goals and assists, his best year was back in the 2020-2021 season under Ronald Koeman, where he had a total of 14 goal contributions. But that is only because Koeman used Frenkie de Jong as an interior. He was one of the highest positioned midfielders in that squad. So of course he did put out great numbers. But as a central defensive midfielder, someone who was in charge of receiving possession in deep areas, for him to have 6 goal contributions is amazing. And of course his work off the ball, it has gained so much. He has gained so much in terms of how to intercept, how to anticipate, where to position yourself defensively, how to take the ball away and look for the next player to pass it to. He has improved in all of those things. And he is one of the reasons on why Barcelona played so well in the previous season. And about about 2 weeks ago, it was also said that Erik ten Hag continued to be very obsessed with Frenkie and he tried to convince him again. This was very recent, but neither the player nor FC Barcelona themselves were interested. Frenkie de Jong is considered as a fundamental player for Xavi Hernandez now. So the story is different, and that is because Frenkie himself chose to be very self-aware on what he needed to do, and he put the work in, and now he has been given the prize. As a matter of fact, he has gotten something better than the prize, which is to be named a captain of FC Barcelona. So he's going to be here. This is also telling us that he will be here for a very long time. Like we thought that he was probably going to stay here for about 2 or 3 more years and then maybe go back to Ajax or maybe actually go to Manchester United under Erik ten Hag. But now with him accepting this role, it's really showing us that he will be here for at the very least 7 more years. I strongly do think so. He's here for the long haul and we'll be ready. Moving towards Ronald Araujo, again, another player that we all know that was supposed to be named as captain. We knew that this was going to happen, just like with Ter Stegen. Araujo, as a matter of fact, 2 days ago said this: what do I think about myself becoming a captain? I consider myself a leader. Also, without the armband, I'm a born leader, and that will always be the case. And for him to say that like 2 days before him being named as captain, what a coincidence, right? It's almost like he spoke it into existence. Araujo himself also had a very big journey. He came back in 2018. Many said that he had no Barcelona DNA, that he's only going to be signing for Barcelona B and then be loaned out and then be forgotten. Someone said Todibo is better. Todibo has better ball skills and blah, blah, like whatever, bro. Like we all knew at that time that Araujo was going to be the one that was going to blossom. And many also said that he had no European experience. Like he just came over here to Barcelona to basically try out to make a name for himself in some way and then maybe join Tottenham or Fulham or something like that. But no, it wasn't that. If anything, Araujo prospered at this club and immediately went into the first team like a few months later. And we all know how that turned out to be after that. He became a warrior. He put his body in front of plays where he should have never done so in the first place. Remember, like a few months ago, Araujo was KO'd on the pitch and the ambulance had to come. We had to delay the match for like 10-15 minutes because things were not looking well. It's just the things that he would do to make sure that Barcelona is protected at the back is just insane. We should also remember, right, that when Barcelona won La Liga against Espanyol at Espanyol's home and we saw Barcelona celebrating on the pitch, many Espanyol fans were coming to the pitch and they were ready to attack the players. And the first player that was aware of what was going on was Araujo, and he told everybody, he's like, hey, look, we gotta go. Let's go. You guys are not paying attention. We have to go inside. You guys are going to be attacked. And so he's very vocal, very vocal. And we just talked about before on one of the ways you could be a captain, right? So like players like Messi, maybe potentially Pedri, these players, they can become captains, but in a very different way. There's different versions of becoming captains. If you can captain the team by the way that you play and inspire the players around you because of the way that you play, you could be named as a captain. Araujo has both. He's vocal, and the way that he plays physically and sportingly and with everything all around, it just makes him a monster. And so now lastly, it's going to be Sergi Roberto. Now I'm going to make this one very quick because I want to get straight to the point. With Sergi Roberto, many of you guys might question, why would Sergi Roberto be a captain? Like really, like why couldn't it be Dembele or Pedri? Maybe even give it to Gavi or Lewandowski or Gundogan, right? It's because with Lewandowski and Gundogan, these are veteran players. They have been through a lot. They have won the Champions League. They're much more heavyweights in the world of football. Why give it to Sergi Roberto? Which is true, right? Like I would, honestly, I would give the captain armband to either Gundogan or Lewandowski. Most importantly, Lewandowski. I would say Lewandowski, but they do have a lot of experience. I can see why many would argue that they should have been given some sort of recognition with the armband. But with Sergi Roberto, I can also understand. He has been with Barcelona. Like I said in the beginning of this video, he has been with us since 2011 in the first team, obviously, right? Before he was still running through the ranks of the academy. But he has been with us for a very long time. I think that he's a good leading example on always being professional on the pitch, meaning that he never really argues with anybody. He never really says anything about being subbed out or being subbed in or not getting any game time. He was always a player that was very calm, and he never really asked for much economically, even during the times of ex-president Bartomeu. Sergi Roberto gives no problems. He has had very important career moments while he played for Barcelona. Like for example, he scored that last minute goal against PSG. He helped make that play for Barcelona to win 3-2 at the Santiago Bernabeu when he had that amazing running past Marcelo. Like he has had moments. Like I'm not even gonna try and lie to you guys. Like Sergi Roberto had amazing bright moments, and so I feel like maybe Xavi is looking at that and saying, hey, look, you have some experience. I have seen you come out in very important moments. I know what you can do. You're not one of my best players, but you're still a very important player because you can transmit this type of experience and leadership to the young players, and hopefully leave something here before you do leave to maybe a different club. And so I have no problem with Sergi Roberto being a captain. I wish it was either Pedri or Dembele or Gundogan or Lewandowski, but it is what it is. I have no problem with it. I have nothing else to say. With Ter Stegen, Araujo, and Frenkie de Jong, that's enough. It's okay. So hopefully this brand new image of Barcelona brings us so many more more trophies. We're going to be here for it. We're all going to be ready. Let's do this together. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.